Okay, so beginning of class, I had you guys write all of this out. We were going to go over how to do this in maybe a class or two. Maybe I actually did this with you, but if not, we're going to go over it right now again, just to make sure you understand what is happening. So I'm going to use my highlighter just to show you a little bit easier what's going on. You can do the same. Remember, you're going to post a pic of this when you're done. So this idea of, this is what I want you to realize what we have to do. They want you to solve, but they want an x value, which we were okay with. We did that last week, but they also want the y. And where have you seen x and y? They want to know the exact point. This is a point, the x and y. They want to know the exact point of where these two lines, if they were graphed, where is the exact point where they touch or where their values could be the same, okay? So we're going to figure that out. How do we do that? We're going to look at our equations. First of all, I look at this one, y equals 2x minus 1. This is in slope-intercept form, slope-intercept. Okay, cool. What does all of this equal? Y, right? All of this, y equals 2x minus 1. Okay? Now down here, y equals negative 6x plus 23. Now that's kind of a big number too. But when I see that they both equal y, I'm allowed to take all of this and put it right here. I can take all of this and I can replace it with the y. All right? And this is solving a system. We're solving it by substitution. We're going to substitute. We're going to replace this right here. We're going to put it right there. All right? So there's not going to be a y anymore. This 2x minus 1 is taking the place of y. So I'm going to write it right underneath. I'm going to write 2x minus 1 equals, and then I'm going to bring this down. Okay? And then from there, I'm going to use my equation skills to do what? To eventually get x. And when I finish this problem right here, I will have x. The question is, it doesn't just want x. And I'll be able to put an answer here. I'll have an answer for x. But it also wants to know y. So let's just go ahead and find x first before we get too far ahead. I'm going to go ahead and add 8x. I'm going to go letters, or add 6x. I jumped ahead on you. Add 6x here, because it's negative. All right, but then that's what I was jumping ahead on you. I know that's going to be 8x minus 1 equals, bring this down, 23. Now I'm going to add 1 to get rid of the constant here. And I'm going to have 8x equals 24. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so you see. So what was my first step? Letters to the left. No big deal. Why did I do plus 6? Because that's a negative 6. Plus 6. Then constants to the right. And then I'm going to divide. All right, 8 into 24, 3 times. Okay, so I have this 3. 3 is my x value. 3. If I wanted to put it as a point right there, 3. How do I find the y? I didn't really talk about this, so I want to make sure that you understand. I'm going to take this, draw this out. I'm going to plug it in right here. If I know what x is now, and I solve all of this, if I plug in x and solve this, it'll give me what y is. So I'm going to put 3 where x is, because I know x is 3. I'm going to put parentheses around it so you understand we're multiplying. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 minus 1 is 5. And that would have been your other value. Just remember, you find your x, you just plug it back in to the beginning, okay? You could have plugged x in here too and got the same answer, but it's easier. This top one is a little easier. All right, we're going to do a couple more of these and some homework, so don't worry. All right, let's go ahead and keep going. Okay, so let's go back to my camera. I got a couple problems set up for you. Now, these ones are old. Okay, this one is from exponents again. We haven't done this in a while, so the negative exponents could be a little confusing, but don't worry, we're going to talk more and more about these. If you remember, a negative does not want to stay negative. We don't like this negative. We want to move it. So it has to change sides. It's going to flip sides. So go ahead and write this down. You have to have all this written down. And remember, we're going to flip the side and make it positive. So no longer is it on the top. It is on the bottom, and it's positive now. Okay? It's no longer here. It moved. Okay, so how many are on the bottom now? 5 to the 4th times 5 to the 3rd? 5 to the 7th. Is that my final answer? What am I forgetting? There has to be a 1, just kind of holding and balancing the whole fraction, right? You have to have this 1 here balancing the fraction, okay? All right, same idea here. We're going to still just do our normal skills. Is there any negative? Just take it step by step. This part, is there any negatives to deal with? No. So this is just a battle. This is a fight. This is a subtraction, right? These 2 are going to take away 2 of those. So it's going to be 3 squared. Didn't the top win? I always look at it like a fight. Who wins the fight? The top? By 2. These 2 knock out 2 of those. So that's why there's only 3 to the 2nd. Now, what about this one? Well, we just did a problem just like this over here. What's going on here? This 4 to the 5th doesn't like to be here. It's going to move down and become positive. Whenever you have a negative exponent, you have to fix it before you do any part of the problem. So now, how many are on the bottom? 4 to the 7th. And there's your final answer. Okay? These are skills we have to know. All right, our last one for our homework. Pretty simple homework. I just wanted to go over in the exponent rules. Wanted to go over substitution with systems. We're going to do another system problem. This one's a little different than the way this one looked. This one had y equals and y equals. I know it doesn't look that way right now, but it was 2 y equals. If you look on the bottom, I only have one that has y equals, and the top that just has it in an equation form. We've done some of these in class, if you remember, and we're going to do a couple more of these later on in the week, for sure, to make sure you're good with this. So this idea, all right, that is what y equals. If you remember my illustration on Desmos, you're able to drag a point, and you could actually drag it into the problem. Where am I going to put this x plus 10? Hopefully you remember, it's where the y is, right? The y is right there. So we're going to put it right in there. We're going to plug it in. So look at how I write the equation. I'm going to write the first equation one more time. 2x plus 3, but instead of y, I put the parentheses instead of the y, okay? Now I have x plus 10. All right, so then what do you do from here? We're going to go ahead and distribute first. 3x plus 30 equals 20. All right, I just brought down the 2x, I brought down the 20. This is 3x plus 30. Then I get 5x, right, plus 30 equals 20. Subtract 30. 5x equals negative 10. Divide 5. X equals negative 2. Okay. If I had to find the y, I would plug it back into right here where x is. And I would put negative 2 plus 10. Negative 2 plus 10 would have been 8. Okay. But for this one, the x is super important to find. If you had to find the y, you could take the 8, or you could take the 2, the negative 2, and plug it in right there where x is. All right, you guys. Hopefully this was helpful. Get it done. Get the credit.